Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Matty here, and today we're doing some more ranked gameplay. Today we're going to be doing sort of a new deck list. I know a lot of people have experience with Flareon, and a lot of people love Flareon, but typically it sees play with Leafeon in that really cool, really consistent tempo deck, which is also really good in the format. But one thing that I've seen popping up recently is this new turbo aggressive Flareon deck, which is actually just being paired with the new Magby. And Magby's really cool with the toasty, what is it, the toasty toast or toasty toss? I don't know even what the attack name is. The toasty toss attack name, which is very similar to P2. It allows you to accelerate a fire energy for no energy cost to one of your benched basic Pokemon. This is actually a lot stronger with Flareon than I ever could have anticipated. It's the ability, the combustibility of Flareon EX that allows us to generate, or I guess bring back those energies from the discard pile and attach them to our Flareon EX, whether it's on the bench or the active spot. What this allows us to do is have a lot more freedom with going into our baby Pokemon. There's a lot of times where, the Magby's not going to be the Pokemon we lead off with, but in most deck lists, that's a significant problem. With Flareon, it actually isn't that big of a problem because of Flareon EX's ability. So if we do lead off with one of our EVs, all of our Pokemon there, basic Pokemon, have 1 energy in their retreat cost, which is really relevant. So even if we're leading off with an EV, we can just attach to it. And then if we're going second, right, what we can do is just retreat, manually discard that energy, go into Magby, and then accelerate that energy, and then later on we can evolve that EV into Flareon and then bring that energy back. So it's a really aggressive way to get those 3 energies onto Flareon as quickly as possible, and that's really what this deck list is all about, is being a fast-paced, consistently aggressive Flareon EX deck. It's been doing really well in tournaments, and I've seen it pop up on the rank ladder, so that's what we're going to be testing here today and playing for you guys. Everything else about the deck is fairly similar. We are playing 4 copies of Eevee, 2 Flareon EX, 1 of the Genetic Apex Flareon non-EX to, of course, get over Oricorio, and then just 1 Sylveon to move through our deck even quicker. We've gotten 1 Sabrina, 1 Red, and then 1 Silver. So the thing with Flareon, when you combine it with Red and Eevee Bag, we're doing a whole lot of damage. The main core strategy of Flareon is to 1 KO a bunch of Pokemon and then kind of overcome our opponent that way. That's why we're not playing something like a Cyrus, but we are playing 2 Eevee Bag, and then, of course, 1 copy of Red to combine for, upwards of 170 damage with the full combo with Flareon, which is really cool. The other cool upside to Flareon is that it actually has 150 HP, which is more than all of the other evolutions, I believe. 150 is a lot, and things like Umbreon, Sylveon, Espeon have 140, so it's nice to have that little bit extra HP. This Flareon here, the Genetic Apex Flareon, sees play in Charizard, and it's actually really nice against Silvally or Oricorio because we can KO either Silvally or Oricorio with this Flareon and live an attack from Silvally, which is definitely really, really cool. So yeah, 2 Eevee Bag, 2 Pokeball, 1 Giant Cape. I think that most decks just benefit from Giant Cape. If we end up going up against, whatever deck list like a Charizard that does 150, it's going to bring our Pokemon out of range. 2 Research, of course. So, it's a pretty standard deck list, but I didn't change too much around from the deck list that I saw. Really, really cool. And I think it's a really great way to showcase some of the new baby Pokemon. I think that the, sort of turbo electric type decks are very common right now, and they're very, very strong. And I think we all sort of know what those deck lists are all about, so I wanted to kind of showcase something a little bit different, which still showcased Magby, one of the new Pokemon that came out in A4. A really, really fun deck list, guys, and the whole point of this video, and I think really the whole point of the strength of this deck is that it's really fast, right? You're either going to win really quickly or lose quickly, depending on what happens, and that's actually really good for ranked mode. It allows you to just play more games in general. One of those facets of, the ranked grind that I think a lot of people underappreciate. It's a big reason why we don't see that many Oricorio, relatively speaking, on the ranked ladder. And a lot of the decks that are just a bit slower, that might have higher win rates, we can play something like this and then just go through a bunch of games really, really quickly, which is hopefully what we can showcase in this video. That was a long intro, a long deck profile. There's going to be timestamps down below. I know some people are just going to see the deck list and then be like, okay, cool, and then they're going to leave. Some people might watch the gameplay. Either way, I like to do a deck profile before the video begins. That way we get some context as to sort of, what this deck list is really all about. I think that's always fun to do. Anyway, let's hop into some ranked games and, see where it goes. All right, guys, let's get right into it. We are at rank 17 and 15 points. So that is currently unranked. I don't know. I haven't played a ton of ranked battles per se. And I guess a lot of people have played more than me, I suppose, to be fair. I don't know. It's hard to keep up. There's just so many people that are playing so much ranked mode. But anyway, let's hop into some games, and let's see if we can make something happen here with this sort of Turbo Flareon deck list. There's some really strong matchups, some really poor matchups, of course, just like every deck in the game, honestly. But going second in the correct lead, honestly, is sort of a recipe to win a lot of games. Now, I did make the last video on Espeon, and quite frankly, I think Espeon is still the best deck in the entire game, but I did want to showcase sort of this new version of Flareon, which is really, really cool. We're going first, which isn't great, but we're playing a fighting type deck, which could be Donphan. Leading off with a non-EX Eevee against like a Donphan lead, going first is really scary, in fact. Not something, our hand is also not good. Okay, well, we can find a friend off the bat, which is not bad, definitely, but you know, no Pokeball, no research in our hand, and we're going first. So that's sort of recipe for disaster already. Even though this is a baby deck, we kind of do more so want to go second than first, just because the way that that Flareon Magby combination kind of goes here. So we top deck the Pokeball, which is fine. So let's see here what we can do. We top deck an Eevee off the Pokeball, which is fine. Do we want to play the turn 1 Silver is sort of my question, right? I don't know if I really want to yet, so I think we're going to hold the Silver for sure. We're going to hold the Silver, and it is what it is, right? We can extend to KO 160 on a Donphan, which is pretty cool. We get red carded, which is, again, it's fine. Our hand wasn't very good whatsoever. Let's see what we draw off the red card here. Another Silver, another Sabrina, and Flareon EX. Okay. That was kind of funny, the way that worked out. So, all right. We will be getting 2 KO'd by this Riolu. And he goes Pokeball Research off the rip. Double Phanpy comes down, and he was just going to hit us for 40, right? Okay. So this is, again, kind of a tough position. Oh, the Eevee EX is interesting. Another one. I guess that's not like that interesting, honestly. I'm trying to think what the best case scenario is for us to do here. It'll probably be to retreat into the other non-Eevee EX so he doesn't take a prize. And then we can just evolve and get the energy going onto our Flareon, I think. I don't think we really need to get damage off on anything here, so I'm just going to evolve into the Flareon. No Magby yet, which is unfortunate for sure, but we're just going to combust. Now, if he evolves into Lucario, I think he KOs, right? No, does Lucario do... It does 40 plus the boost, so I think we're okay. Does Lucario do 40 or 60 damage? I cannot remember. We could Sabrina here, which theoretically would keep us safe, but I don't know if I want to do that. I'm actually just going to play the Silver now, just to maybe hold our opponent off next turn. Okay, so he has Lucario and Donphan in hand. Lucario does 40, so he's not KOing us, especially now that we got rid of Giovanni, so that ended up being kind of smart on our part. All right, so... because we went first, unfortunately, we have no Magby here. He top decks the research. Of course he does. We're now in an okay position to where hopefully we can just sort of, you know, set up our board state and take some KOs. That's kind of like our only hope at this point. We don't have EV Bag or Red. So at the moment right now, we're not able to take any KOs on a Donphan, which is, again, pretty scary for sure. But he'll have to commit 2 energies to the Lucario if he wants to attack with it this turn. Which means he's going to be behind on attachments to the Donphan. He does go into Phanpy here, and he's probably just going to evolve here and attach. Okay, so this is fine. So he's going to hit for 70, which actually with... yeah, okay, so this is actually going to get the KO, which is crazy now that I think about it. Donphan here, a really, really good counterplay with Lucario. The Donphan Lucario turn 2 is nuts because he's hitting for a perfect 90 damage, which is very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate for us. But we can just go into Flareon, and we can just sort of wait a turn. We can Sabrina to stall. I mean, it's not great. I'm not going to lie. Going first against the Donphan is probably not the best case scenario. I guess we could probably... Would we rather research here? Or would we rather... I think we'd rather Sabrina this turn. Just to kind of slow him down for a turn, for sure. Because now he can't attack us for the full damage amount. Yeah, he goes into Phanpy. It's fine. Yeah, we're just going to pass. And then we'll play the research next turn. Hopefully draw through some cards. And then hopefully set ourselves up potentially. You know, I wonder if he's going to attach to the active here. I think he has to. I think he has to attach the active and attack. Either way, we're going to play research, and hopefully we can draw some cards to take the KO here. Going first is bad with this deck list. It's much like it is with any deck. Like, we would just rather go first. So he does attach to the active. Hits us for 50 because of the Lucario, right? Which is definitely really relevant. So we can Pokeball research here, which is nice. And we can take the KO. But we will be taking some damage, right? Just inevitably. The Lucario Donphan in hand was nuts. Okay. So there's the red and a Magby. Okay. So theoretically speaking, all we need is like an Eevee Bag and we can KO on the Donphan. which is kind of what we're reliant on right now. But unfortunately, like, we're going to get KO'd regardless if we combust next turn, which is really bad for us. There's no really way any way around that because he's going to hit us for 70. And that'll put us at 10 HP. So we kind of are reliant on EV Bag, but we do have another research. We've got 2 EV Bag in the deck. We even have Sylveon, so I think we have to just go with this strategy. Going first against Donphan is really, really bad. We also have Giant Cape, which is a possible win condition for us for sure. No baby Pokemon, and going first is a recipe for disaster for sure. Probably one of the worst case scenarios in terms of an early game situation for us here. But theoretically speaking, he can't KO us next turn. And he's going to be a little bit weary of going into the Donphan because we can technically get the KO next turn. It just requires us to top deck some stuff. So, you know, we'll see, I guess, what happens. He's definitely just going to hit us for 70. That's, the second Lucario. Okay, coming down soon. That's fine. Okay, so now we're pressed for time. He's going to silver away the red, which is crazy that he had silver in his hand. And an absolutely perfect draw from our opponent there. I mean, that is just literally insane. Okay, so our opponent had everything he could possibly need. He went second, had turn 2 Donphan and Lucario, and we do draw the EV Bag, but unfortunately, it's just not going to be enough. So, I guess what we can do, we just lose. We just lose with the EV Bag top deck. Okay, that's really rough. Really, really rough for sure. Okay, you know, an unfortunate first game there, about as unlucky as we possibly could have gotten. But you know, it is what it is. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Okay, let's try not to go first against, you know, a turn 2 Donphan and Lucario combination. That's pretty bad. The silver is nuts, technically there. I mean, we could have top decked a research, or Sylveon or Giant Cape and technically been in a position to be okay. But the issue there was that we just were behind by like 2 turns. You know what I mean? There's just nothing that we could have done. Like, he just sort of came out and did 90 damage to our EX on turn 2 with the Lucario Donphan combo. For him to have both of those Pokemon in the active is very fortunate. Or in play on turn 2 is definitely very fortunate for him. And going second. Okay. Let's see if we can make something else happen. We got to showcase at least what this deck can do. I know you guys probably always joke around because we show losses in the videos when I'm showcasing decks, but it's important to, like, be real. You know, we have to be sort of realistic with what our deck is and what it can do here. We are going second, and we have the Magby EV Flareon combo in hand. So we might be able to actually showcase sort of an upside to what this deck can do, which is pretty cool, I would say. Oh, and we're going second. We probably should have... Does it matter? Wait, going second, we should have led... No, we're fine. I don't know what I'm thinking. We're playing Incineroar, which is nuts. That's a crazy thing to have happened because he can just KO our Magby. That's fine. Okay, that's all right. It is what it is. But we're going second at least, so that's fine. He's probably gonna want to evolve here. I don't think Giant Cape really helps us if he does turn 2 Rare Candy next turn, so I might not even Giant Cape the Magby. I don't even think it does anything for us. I think it's okay if we just get KO'd this turn. I think I would rather just have Giant Cape on the Flareon personally. But anyway, we're gonna pop off for 130 next turn. And hopefully that's enough to get have enough pace to win the game here. But again, we are playing a 180 HP, you know, stage 2 rare candy Pokemon. So there's always that potential that they just go absolutely nuts on us. The second Litten comes down. No research, no Pokeball in our hand or anything, but we do have a phenomenal start. Excuse me. But he goes Pokeball research, turn 1. Good for him, for sure. Okay. I don't know if he's playing anything else other than Incineroar. I guess it's somewhat likely. I don't know. But we're 0-1 so far in the video. Actually, technically 0-2. I didn't showcase that. We top decked the research, which is really good. Okay. So, second Magby's funny and a second Eevee. So double basics there. Now we do have 2 dead Pokeballs in our deck, basically. Or 1 dead Pokeball in our deck at this point, which isn't great. Yeah, so I don't even think I care much about the Magby getting KO'd. Do I? I mean, do I really? I don't know if I do. I can't really do all of that math in my head so far. Incineroar can hit for 140, but he's going to do 50 plus the burn. I don't know if Giant Cape on Flareon even matters either. I think we would probably maybe still rather survive with Magby. That way he just doesn't take the prize. I think that's probably still the best way to go. That's kind of how I'm feeling about it. We're going to do it like this. We're just going to force him potentially to have that rare candy combo. And if he does, then, you know, whatever, right? People get lucky. He's got 10 cards in deck, so, well, he actually has 6 in hand, so it's pretty likely that he's just going to rare candy and KO us this turn. But, I mean, even if he does, we just 2-hit KO with Flareon, right? And then where does he go from there, I guess, is sort of the the upside to that. I think maybe he does have somewhere to go. Maybe he just goes double rare candy Incineroar really quick. That would be nuts, for sure. But yeah, we're just gonna ride it out here. We're just gonna cruise here. We do have the combo, so turn 2 Flareon 130. This is sort of, at least we can showcase the upside to this deck, which is sort of the whole idea of being like a really aggressive, fast-paced version of Flareon. Again, you know, playing Leafeon, it jumbles the deck up a little bit, but what it does do is it makes you a little bit more of a consistent tempo option where you have multiple different attacking options and you can lead, you know, into a Flareon or Leafeon into Flareon a little bit more seamlessly, where, you know, this deck is really just all about, you know, getting that Flareon up and running and just sort of sweeping your opponent with it, which doesn't always work. You know what I mean? Doesn't always work that way. Like sometimes your opponent just sort of goes nuts as well. But anyway, let's sort of see if we can get the whole combo out here. Our opponent's taking quite some time. Maybe he just doesn't have anything in his hand. I don't know what's going on, honestly. I'm recording a video here. Polymero? Come on, man. Do something. If he goes to timer here, that's nuts. I'm just trying to showcase what's going on here. Trying to showcase my deck. Okay, he just left. I'm trying to get some gameplay for my channel here. We were about to pop off. Literally, we get the combo, and our opponent leaves. What's up with that? I'm keeping that in the video. You guys can imagine in your brains what would have happened, right? We would have just sort of turn 2 130 with Flareon. Maybe we top deck red or something, and we go nuts. But anyway, we'll take the W. That's a good illustration, I suppose, of, you know, going second, Magby lead, right? Turn 2 Flareon. Let's play a couple more games, or maybe just one more game. I don't know. We'll have to see exactly what kind of gameplay we can get here with this deck list. But a very fast-paced. Again, that's a very quick win, so I guess that's a big upside for sure. When you're playing Flareon and whatnot. Okay, so let's do it. Charizard is something that is going to be coming a little bit more aggressive. We're going first again, which is tough. Playing Dark again, so it could be Giratina Darkrai. Still leading Magby, definitely leading Magby. And we do have Flareon, so this isn't a horrible scenario. We even have Giant Cape Silver in hand. Giratina Darkrai is an interesting matchup as well, right? Because we can just sort of one hit KO kind of, is the hope, I suppose. But yeah. Okay. 3 basic Pokemon. Oh, he's playing Magby and okay, so he's playing Turbo Silvally, Darkrai Silvally. Okay. That's fine. This I'm not super upset about this. This should be an okay matchup. Another Eevee comes down. Sure. I'm actually going to silver him turn 1. I'm going to aggressively play the silver and these 2 cards in hand. Snipe the Gladion. Let's go. They always have it, right? So you got to account for that. I'm just going to cape the Eevee here. We should get at least 2 turns out of this Magby, which is pretty cool. Unless he just tries to go aggressive and he just goes into type null and goes for the coin flip. That would be pretty funny. But regardless, I mean, like literally, I mean, the whole point of this deck here is that we should just be able to like KO a couple times. So there's the Pokeball we know he had in hand. What's the other card in hand? If it's just like research or something, I'm going to be upset. Of course it is. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't it be a top deck research? You know, like, you know, that sort of just makes sense, I think, I guess. Okay. All right, it's all good. All good. We're just going to Magby out again here. Though he is going to be able to KO it with Darkrai, which I guess is kind of bad for us. Now that I think about it. We could just KO here with our own Eevee. He actually accelerates to the Darkrai, so he's trying to KO next turn, which is kind of funny. We could just retreat into the other Magby. Would that be also... Was that... Is that what the play we do here? What do we do, actually? We could KO the Magby, but then he goes into Darkrai, and again, he can hit for 100 damage. Or do we just Magby again? Like, do we want to be aggressive here? I'm going to split the energies, but yeah, I'm just going to go into this Eevee with Giant Cape and hope that he doesn't KO us next turn. Is sort of my hope. We can always just retreat, Flareon, double attach, and then attack to Darkrai next turn. We're banking on him not being able to do 110 here, but they probably play Giovanni and stuff. Again, I'm just sort of hoping that he doesn't right here. I mean, even if he does, I guess, then we can just still do the Flareon combo, and we just have to top deck one of our Eevee bags or something. So that's a research, right? So that's not a Giovanni, so he can't KO us here, right? Which is good. The Silvally comes in. Are we just going to double? Are we going to double up on this guy right here? Yeah, there you go. He hits here, but he can only hit us for 80. Oh, he Giant Capes. Okay, that's pretty good. That's very good for him, actually. Very, very good for him to do that. Okay. Now we're in a very interesting scenario here. The other Magby comes down. We don't play Cyrus in our deck here. It's going to be hard for us to extend here to this amount of damage. If he has Cyrus, then we are actually cooked here. I'm not going to lie. There is an Eevee bag. So correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think we can kind of guarantee... Okay, hold on. Do we ever just hit the active? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm wondering. There's a couple of options, right? I think we probably just sort of evolve into the other Eevee, which will be at 150, and then we just, or 130 technically, and we just hit him. And then he doesn't have an easy way to KO us next turn regardless, right? So I'm just going to do that, but we do lose to a Guzma at some point if that happens. But yeah, we're going to do this. I think this is the most aggressive strategy still, which we're going to try and do properly here. So we have to combust. We're going to take 20, but that puts us at 130. He still can't KO us next turn, right? So we're just going to hit him for 130. There's no reason to use Eevee Bag yet, so we're just going to hold off on it. 130. He can't KO us next turn, but he can't also really do anything next turn except retreat into something, which, you know, puts us at least in a decent situation here. He silvers us, which is fine. We don't have anything in our hand to silver, so he's kind of forced to retreat. And if he does retreat, I assume he's going to go back into Magby. Yeah, okay, this is all fine. This is all totally fine, I think. Oh, he tags with Darkrai. Okay, so we don't have, unfortunately though, we don't have, yeah, okay. If he has Cyrus, I think we're going to lose this game regardless because we don't play Cyrus in our deck. Research, we're going to play. What do we draw? Another Eevee, that's bad. Another that's horrible. That's literally the 2 cards we don't need. We don't need more basic Pokemon right now. It's literally the last thing we need. Okay, so now I think we're kind of forced to... Well, let's think about it here. If we Eevee bag 110, can he even do 110 next turn? I don't think so. He can only do 100. We can't just Eevee bag and then KO the Magby and then sort of GG. But then, unfortunately, we need the other Eevee bag to get the KO. But then, you know, Eevee EX could finish the KO, right? Is that the better play? I don't think retreating here is sketchy because, again, if he Cyruses us, like, he can just sort of take KOs, you know what I mean? So I am just going to Eevee bag and stay in and hope he doesn't have, like, a Giovanni top deck or whatever. I'm just going to heal up and then go back to 110 HP. I am going to KO this thing because we have Sabrina, which would be a win condition at some point. And I'm just going to combust. So, again, hopefully he can't do 110. I guess this is what we're banking on here. I'm just going to KO the Magby, honestly. I'm just going to do it. Again, this way, like, we can top deck Eevee bag. We can top deck a research into Eevee bag. We have red. We have Sabrina as well, which would be a win condition unless he can KO us next turn. So, you know, we'll see, I guess, is all I'm saying. You know what I mean? We'll see. I guess this is an awkward spot just because, like, we don't know what that other top deck is going to be. He brings in the Cyrus. Okay. So he'll take 2 points here. So he did, I think he did top deck the Cyrus. But this is actually really good for us because this is going to leave us with 30 HP, which means we don't have to Eevee bag. Yeah, I actually think this is fine. Because now we have Sabrina as a win condition. We can research into Eevee bag as a win condition. We can top deck red as a win condition. Unfortunately, if we top deck Sylveon, that's going to be really, really bad for us. So we just have to get a little bit lucky. And we top deck the Flareon. Okay. Yeah, that's horrible. Okay. That's really, really bad. Massively unlucky there, I think. Research in the deck. We have red in the deck. We have Eevee bag in the deck. That's bad. I mean, that is as bad as it can possibly be, quite frankly. Nothing else I can really say about that. There's nothing else I can say. And we just don't have any other Pokemon because we didn't find any evolutions up until this point. They're all in the deck list. Yeah, we just lose. No! What is this? What is this luck here? That's bad luck, okay? Very, very bad luck, unfortunately for us. We have red in the deck. We have an Eevee bag in the deck. It just doesn't matter. We can't. We're 1 damage short. We even have Sabrina. Sabrina was literally a win condition because we could have just taken a KO. So we had red, Eevee bag, Sabrina, and a research, which we could have played, of course, to draw into those cards here. We even just would have had a second Flareon if we drawn it next turn or last turn. Really unlucky. Very, very unlucky that game. Feels pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. Feels really poorly there. It should have been a very easy win for us, but you know, why wouldn't we just draw the cards we need? Unfortunately, that Flareon is really not good for the deck unless, of course, we're playing Oricorio. We didn't thank our opponent there. Maybe we were a bit salty. It's okay. Listen, we were going to peep the losses in the video. You know, we have to be real, right? We got to be realistic. You get lucky, you get unlucky sometimes, and you get lucky sometimes. You know what I mean? Let's play one more game. Let's try to just get a W. That way we can maybe just at least go 50-50 in the video. I don't have all day to record Pokemon Pocket games here. I would love to go second. This deck, of course, is very good going second. We've lost both games going first, even though that one was extremely winnable. And we are going second. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. We have an EV lead, no Magby yet, but we do have Flareon, EV Bag Red, and Research. So definitely banking on drawing into something with this Research. Actually, the Execute here is crazy. But our opponent's going first, so that's also not really that bad for us. So we're not going to get hit for a 150 next turn, which is good. This is all good stuff. If we draw to a Magby this turn, then that's actually really, really good. All right. Let's see what happens this game. I mean, we're playing a grass deck. We should have like a distinct advantage here, but I guess you never really know, do you? That Giant Cape is nuts here. We top deck another Research. Sure. We have red in hand as well, and EV Bag, so we can extend pretty heavily here. There's a Pokeball. And it's another EV. Okay, so no Magby is unfortunate. Simple as that. It's just unfortunate. I'm just going to attach and hit. But yeah, that's not very good for us, unfortunately, because, you know, if that was a Magby, then we could have done the whole retreat thing and attack turn 2 with Flareon, but we can't do that this turn now, so we're kind of reliant at least on him not just absolutely bodying us this turn. He goes into Exeggutor EX, which is scary. If he flips heads here, if he goes Will and flips heads, that's going to be a little bit scary. He repels us, so he's trying to get the KO here, but I don't really care about that, honestly. I really don't care that much. Let's see. I mean, of course he does, right? Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he just go? I mean, what are the odds, right? That he goes first, turn 2, gets heads on Exeggutor EX. I mean, you know, that's the world we live in, right? I mean, that's just sort of, we're playing Justin Bieber, dude. Holy cow. Shout out to Justin Bieber, dude. What a legend. What an absolute legend. There's a Flareon. Okay. We have to play this, I guess, now a little bit smart, although we do have red and Flareon in hand, right? So, I mean, realistically speaking, there's a Magby. Realistically speaking, what we can do here is, no EV is actually really bad. The fact that we drew a Magby there is hilarious. He also just repelled us. Like, that turn was insane. I mean, like, what? What are you talking about? For him to go turn 2, Leaf Cape, Exeggutor EX, repel, flip heads, get the KO on our EV is absurd. I mean, the odds of all of that happening are so astronomical. It's kind of crazy. I'm over it though, so we're just gonna go ahead and just Giant Cape. Evolve Flareon and attach here. I'm not even stressing about it. We're just doing this. You know, good luck. We'll bench the Magby because why not? You know, so I guess sometimes it goes like that. I mean, I don't really have anything else to say other than, like, you know, what else can you do? You know, Justin Bieber's just the man, I guess. If we get rolled in an easy matchup by Justin Bieber, then maybe this upload video just doesn't get uploaded. Does he flip heads twice is the question. He doesn't. Okay, all right. All right. I was gonna kind of freak out on him, but the thing is now is like, well, I guess he can. I was gonna say he could have Alolan Exeggutor me next turn, but not today. We top deck a second Magby. Why? Why the second Magby? Like, what? Well, crazy. Craziness. All right. We have not showcased the lucky part of this deck for sure. We're hitting for 150, so I'm actually just gonna pop the EV Bag first and then hold the red next turn, potentially. And I might just kind of bench the second Magby just to get the card out of my hand. So we'll take the KO here. So hopefully we don't get like Marsed or whatever. We'll KO him with weakness. One of the I guess the few matchups, of course, where we're gonna have a distinct advantage, even though our opponent got way luckier than we did. But even if he evolves here, we just KO next turn. It doesn't matter. You can't KO us, so I don't know how we lose, I guess, at this point. But I guess there's always a way. You know, we're probably just gonna get like Marsed, and then he's gonna evolve and hit heads, and we're gonna be absolutely toast. I would expect that to happen. Honestly, I would not be surprised. The Pokecom comes out here. I don't know what he's coming for. I guess he's coming for an Exeggutor EX. He might have the Alolan in hand. He probably wants the EX. He conceded. Okay. All right. So, all right. I mean, what do we do in this video? How long was this video so far? I mean, am I just going to upload this right now? Let's play one more game. The thing about this deck, though, is like it's such a funny deck to get gameplay on because you either just sort of absolutely win games immediately, which we've showcased pretty properly, or you kind of just get rarely unlucky and you just lose. which, you know, is kind of Pokemon Pocket, but the speed of this deck is kind of fun, right? The high roll, fast-paced nature of it is kind of interesting. All we need is like a couple of streaks, right? This is definitely a deck that could be extremely streaky. Let's play one more game. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of jonesing for one more game here. I want to just showcase something other than our opponent conceding turn 2, which I suppose is what this deck is gonna, you know, force our opponent to do oftentimes. But you know, it is what it is here. We are going first again. Okay, so you know, we are playing grass though, and we lead Magby. So you know what, our hand is bad, I guess, but you know, who knows what we top deck. Celesteela, so it's Buzzwole. I think we lost. Did we lose to Buzzwole earlier? I definitely lost with this deck to Buzzwole at one point just by getting unlucky there. The Sabrina's funny. It's not going to help us right now. Let's Pokeball something into another Eevee. Sure. We would like some type of evolution Pokemon or a research, because if not, we're just going to lose and there's nothing we can really do about it. But, you know, we'll see what we can do. He leads Celesteela, which is, you know, arguably the best lead for him for sure. And he's going second, which so he's going to get the first attack off. All really fortunate stuff here. He goes Pokeball Research. Okay, so immediately, you know, he's doing good. Here comes the Buzzwole. Assuming we see a Kartana or a Pheromosa. No, which is really crazy. Another Pokeball, because why not? That's pretty funny. We'll take the other Eevee and we'll just bench it. So, you know, the question here, honestly, is like, I don't need to Toasty Toss again. I think we probably just find a friend and hope that it works. I think is actually the best case scenario here. Hopefully this is one of our 5 evolution Pokemon in our deck. It's not. No, of course. It's just another Magby. Okay, all right. Do I regret that play? You know, you could say so. He goes back-to-back researches. Sure. We've gotten like 5 basic Pokemon, no evolution Pokemon. And our opponent has like 15 cards in his hand. Let's see if we can do something. Now, here's the Pheromosa. Respect to the Pheromosa for sure. Sabrina's going to be good, though, because if we do top deck a Flareon or whatever, we can take a KO on something without discarding an energy from him, which is good. Even though he can still retreat and do all of that shenanigans here. We top deck the Flareon. I mean, thank you. Holy cow. Talk about something that we needed right there. Okay. I don't know if I want to Eevee back yet. You know, what can we say about Flareon? I might have to just end the video here. What can we say about Flareon other than the fact that people don't want to play this deck list if you're just drawing your cards? I guess the title here is correct. And to be fair, I made the thumbnail and I made the title before I even recorded this video. It just ended up being correct. Like, Flareon, you get the fastest wins in the game with this deck list because people just rage. They go, okay, like a turn 2 Flareon, like I'm not dealing with it. We've seen our opponent like just frame 1 concede 3 games at like in this video. We did lose a couple because we just got unlucky, you know, but in general, I think this deck list is actually really, really strong for climbing ranked. Comment down below what you guys think. I'm sorry I couldn't provide some real gameplay here. But to be fair, I mean, I think the deck is super simple anyway, right? It's just sort of an early combo deck that's really aggressive and really, really explosive. No pun intended, you know, with Flareon. So yeah, guys, listen, that's the video today. I don't know what else to really tell you guys. This is a really good choice. I think it's a really slept on deck list. I think that, you know, the Leafeon Flareon deck is really strong. But the baby Pokemon themselves are such incredible high roll decks, especially with Flareon. It just gets a little bit more of a consistency boost with the baby Pokemon that other Pokemon do, because you don't have to lead with the baby Pokemon, right? You can just attach, retreat, use the baby Pokemon to accelerate next turn, evolve, and then use combust and attach, and then boom, turn 3 energies, turn 2, which is really strong. And I think that's really the core aspect of this deck list, hyper aggressive. There's a lot of grass decks flying around. I mean, we played like multiple in this video, but Buzzwole's really common. And we can 1-hit KO a lot of those common tempo decks in the game. So I actually really, I'm really high on this deck. You know, I mean, is it better than Espeon? I mean, probably not, right? I mean, Espeon's just crazy, but this is a deck that can beat anything just because it is so fast-paced and so aggressive. So, yeah, guys, there you go. I'm sorry I couldn't get more gameplay. It's just whenever I sort of get any sort of pace going with this deck list, my opponents just frame 1. They just concede immediately because, you know, they know what's up. They know that's what the video is all about. That's what this video is about. Fast wins. And, you know, probably fast losses as well, but very fast wins, right? Win streaks are a thing now. And you can't D-rank in Master Wall as well, which is pretty cool. But yeah, win streaks are a thing. So, you know, play a really fast-paced deck list, something that just can win immediately, and just sort of blow through a bunch of ranked games. I mean, that's a valid strategy for sure. This is honestly one of the more impressive decks that I've tested right now. And honestly, I think one of the best applications for any of the baby Pokemon in the entire game, which I think is really cool. Really, really fun. Shout out to Magby, shout out to Flareon. We got to wrap up this video, guys. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. And then stay tuned because we're going to do sort of our updated best decks for ranked mode tomorrow, which I do think should be a really, really fun video. And I'm actually really excited for that. So anyway, guys, peace out. Have a good one. We'll see you guys later. And yeah, bye.